Hi everyone, welcome again to another episode of The Big Mic on G9ija TV. I hope you guys are having a great weekend. We've got some interesting events that's been taking place in Nigeria. So my name is Olatunde, and here we go. The first story that we are bringing you is about a unique wedding. Everyone actually knows that there's a lot of things happening in Nigeria in regards to the economic downturn that is currently taking place in the country that we are praying comes to an end quite quickly. I mean, this is a wedding that people are cutting. This is something that you actually, it's a real classic that you cut your coat according to your size. Now, let's get on it. So basically, it says Gary and Kuli. Kuli is like this granite, I think, fried, and cassava as well. That people actually drink, with water. Sometimes you put sugar alongside. I used to drink it. I still drink it sometimes. Quite interesting, especially with groundnuts. So it's something that is actually taken across. I don't know about other African countries, but in Nigeria, it's something that we all enjoyed. Especially if you have ever been in boarding house, this is your go-to meal. So it actually says a Nigerian couple goes viral for serving gari and kuli kuli at wedding. In a video that has gone viral in Nigeria, okay, that the couple creates excitement on their wedding day by serving the guests the gari and kuli kuli. It is not something that is normally being given. At our wedding reception, you're talking of jollof rice, you're talking of fried rice, you're talking of pounded yam, all sorts of delicacy. Some. So to have this is something that is seen as a survival food. So it's not something that if you are well off, you're not expected to be well, except that maybe you want to indulge in it because you just like it. So which I do from time to time, like I said earlier. So it says that this demonstrated a recent video that is trending on the well-known TikTok platform Eyes of Lagos report. Nigerian couple goes viral for serving the kuli kuli at their wedding. In the video, believed to have been shared by one of the event attendees, a large box is shown containing numerous sachets of gari, powdered milk, kuli, sugar, and other supplements are also revealed in the video. As the video spreads online, concerned individuals have flooded the comment section to share their thoughts. Um, there have been all sorts of reaction from people online. They said, God, all these people don't mind. They take what you serve them. Another online user says, but most people, it's been long. They actually drank Gary, so they need it. Then another Mr. T, person don't copy my wedding plan. I need move weddings now to Friday, to February. You know, I think the thing about it is that I think it takes a lot of should I say ingenuity, at the more of boldness, to say, well, we don't have the money to buy all the usual fried rice, jollof rice, white rice, or all the should I say all the usual food that's been served in wedding. And I mean, look at it. It's been served on in a white bowl, sachet. The gari is in the sachet, the milk, sugar, everything in the sachet as well. You know, so and you can see the servers there. So I think this is something that is deliberate because if it's a sort of maybe people who are financially constrained severely, I don't think they'll be serving it in this manner because the servers themselves are looking, quite, yeah, they're looking quite good in their black outfits. So it's not one of those things that you will expect to see. Then when you look at the background, the reception, I mean, if you look at the setting, the decoration, the plates, everything. So I think this person is trying to make a statement. So I'm sure they must have done it to sort of get some sort of reaction. Definitely they can afford something much more. I mean, just looking at that, you're able to assess that and then be able to sort of come to that conclusion. Okay. So you can actually see them there. They're carrying the bowls. Wow. So this is something. So I mean, you can actually put in the comment section in your wedding. If you're doing your wedding reception, would anyone be able to do that? I mean, is this something that you would look at and you would like to do? To sort of make a statement. Well, I don't think I know of anybody that will try to do that anyway. So moving swiftly on, so we have another one in regards to what has been the impact of the situation in the country. What has been the impact on people, across the country, from Kaduna, Kano, Abuja, Zamfara, Benue State, Plateau State, Kogi State, Ondo State, Ekiti State, all across the country. What has been the impact? How are people, I mean, let's just dive into this and see what people's experience has been. So, I've got this storyline saying that in some places people are kind of, those that are in the lowest, should I say, the lowest economic um, ladder, they basically are feeling this really badly. So let me just share this quickly. It said hardship, animal feed now delicacy to some families. So the story is that following the present economic hardship in the country, occasioned by the hiking fuel prices and food inflation, Nigerians have devised ingenious means to survive. The hardship has driven many to do the unimaginable just to survive, such as feeding on animal feeds. Wow. Some residents have resorted to selling personal belongings to weather the crisis, while some have even taken to urban farming. Many car owners have also abandoned their cars at home and make use of commercial motorcycle, tricycles, and other means of public transportation to their respective destination, while others have taken to trekking some distances because of the hike in transport fare. So let's go to Plateau State. In Plateau State, it's reported that some people are resort to animal feed to stay alive. Many women in Jos have now resorted to animal feed to stay alive. A resident, Mrs. Gladys, said, I was heartbroken when I heard of a pregnant mother of four feeding her children with maize chaffs, which is called dusa in local language. Animals are fed with dusa, and this is what this woman was feeding her children with after grinding it and making food with it. The development was confirmed by a seller of dusa who said the price of the commodity has increased by 500 naira, as many women had been patronizing her, which they grind and make into two. A mechanic, Monday Adetola, said that in the last 6 to 7 months, his client base had greatly reduced because of the hardship in the country. He said, I've been calling my clients to know why they don't come again, but they complain about the economic hardship. If they don't drive the car, how will they come for regular maintenance? When the price of petrol keeps going higher, many people will park their vehicles, and that means less work for us. Murtala Musa, a tailor, said he closed his shop and has started selling noodles and eggs because he no longer had customers. That's a tailor, And in Nigeria, now, parties, weddings, burial, all these things are now being sort of everybody. People are not doing party the way it used to be. To Mary Friday in the past, I was particular about what I eat. Now I eat it due to heal health. But right now, I'm unable to afford the kind of food I should eat while I eat what I see now, which is giving me concerns because I don't want my condition to get worse. The suffering is too much. How do we survive? Nobody will go through this and remain sane. Okay, so let's go to Ekiti. He said skipping meals rely on less nutritious alternatives. In Ekiti State, a civil servant, DG Ilori, noted that it has become increasingly difficult for him to provide stable food for his family, forcing them to skip meals and rely on less nutritious alternatives. He said fuel is now 1,000 per liter. I can imagine when last I drove my car to the office. Before now, when fuel was being sold for 585 per liter at NNPC, I spent an average of 30,000 per week on fuel, and we are yet to enjoy the new minimum wage. Even at that, whatever gain is coming with the minimum wage has already been eroded. A a matter of robbing Peter for Paul, and has already been eroded with the new pump price of petroleum. My family and I can no longer eat what we want. We have to prioritize what is most essential. Everything is getting more difficult with the rise in fuel and commodity prices, he said. Wamba Favor, a small business owner, described how she has been caught in a vicious cycle of increasing expenses, dwindling profits. This unfortunate development is forced her to stop taking orders, and at time she would sell products at this purchase price to avoid losses. Imagine buying something for 5,000 naira and having to sell it at the same price just to make people buy it, so that the product doesn't go unsold. It got to a point where I was tempted to sell below the amount I bought it, but I pray it doesn't come to that, which has led me to stop taking some orders, she explained. Ganiat Olariwaju, staple food seller, reported experiencing a sharp drop in sales as customers overwhelmed by the cost of fuel and food have cut back on their purchases. She noted that many who once bought in bulk were now purchasing in smaller quantities or not at all, forcing her to adjust her operations to avoid losses. In Osun State, that people are going on the street to beg for food. Following the hardship in the quarters of women in Oshogbo, Osun State capital, have resorted to begging to feed their families. More well-dressed women now throng the streets of the state capital and other towns to beg. Wow, this is just crazy. Honestly, I don't know whether the government is actually taking cognizance of what is really going on. You know, um, when they've already agreed to the minimum wage of 70K, and people were still saying, okay, grudgingly, okay, well, let's see what we can manage with that. Then, boom, what happens? Fuel price actually increases. When I heard, I'm like, no, it can't be real. And it is. It is. You know, all sorts of things. It's having these domino effects across, the country. People, tailors can't sell clothes, can't sew new clothes. Mechanics are not even servicing cars because people are not bringing their car in because they are not driving, basically. So they're having to prioritize buying food to stay alive. How can an economy, you know, how can an economy grow? How can we resolve the issue with the economy? When you have stuff like this, inflation is just going to, inflation is just running up. Everything is just crazy. I think more, concrete steps needs to be taken. This is where if the government have to subsidize food in terms of the fuel, I think something needs to be done about it. They can't just say, oh well, let the market forces. No, this is not just about supply and demand. More concrete, pragmatic steps needs to be taken as it is to actually get this resolved. Also, Usman Farouk, a student of the Obafemi Awolowo University, described the present economic situation as excruciating, saying his parents could not afford to pay his school fees now, which, now much less provide for his needs as an undergraduate. Living has been very difficult as a student. I work as a laborer at various sites here in Ile-Ife to make ends meet, and the money I made from the site is not even enough to buy food to survive on campus. Since last year, I have not traveled to Kwara State, where I am based, because of the cost of transportation. That's a student from Obafemi Awolowo University in Ife. Has not gone home for like well over a year because the amount of money that he will spend on transportation, he would rather just stay there. And this guy actually says he's been doing some laborer, he has taken up some laborer's job. I work as a laborer at various sites here in Ife to make ends meet. And the money I made from this site is not even enough. Wow. I Aqua Ibom, resort to public transportation. Many public personnel have parked their vehicles, resorted to using public transport to work. Even commercial tricycle, keke nape, Taxi and minibus operators appears to be worst in following low passenger patronage, lamenting the sad turn of events. An estate surveyor, Madam Chiyere said the high cost of fuel has made prices of every other thing to skyrocket. Feeding is difficult. And these days, you see people looking emaciated because of hunger. One of the strategies I've adopted to survive is restricting my movement as a public servant. I only go to work twice or thrice in a week. We're talking about this where the Lagos state government actually came up with an initiative, did say to people, to government officials, work from home for the next 3 months. And I actually feel that maybe they could have done it in a much smarter way. You know, um, why don't they just, get BRT to take people at maybe 80% discounted in terms of fare? Because you have to get the economy running, and asking people not to go or I just believe that is the knock-on effect is counterproductive. So what it will lead to is that some unintended negative outcome will happen. I mean, take for instance, when people don't go to work, those who are dependent, the people that sells food around there, it's going to be a knock-on effect on them. Who's going to be buying their things? Even though those things, even when they were there, they were not selling much, but at least some people were buying them. So, when you actually have, it's like the output, from a business unit, it's an input to another. So if people don't turn up, if government officials are not going to allow staff, for instance, and they are not working, the people surrounding them, who their businesses is dependent on the staff of Lagos State government, they're not going to be buying anything from them because they are not coming to work. So I think this is something that they should have actually have taught much more, in greater details, and they could have come up with something that is much more, inclusive, something that will have less, drastic, rather than taking that drastic step. And again, look, we are not looking to just sort of keep on increasing the population. Now you're asking people not to come to work. They're going to be at home. And you know that part of what's going to happen now, they're going to be rabbiting away, which means in the next 6 months. So, we're going to have lots more babies coming through. Cross River, taken to farming. This one is quite interesting. In Cross River, it was the same story as many residents have taken to farming to survive the hardship, while some took to selling off personal household items to meet the high cost of living. Others who in the past will not touch anything that has to do with farm, with six pole, are now neck deep in it. It's true. A lot of people are doing it, because I remember in our office there, we're growing yam. How are we doing it? We just have these cement bags and we're putting yam in it. Well, not all of them grew, but at least about two, or is it three? I'm not really sure. They are growing. People need to come up with some initiatives now, because when you are buying a tuber of yam for like 4,000, 5,000, depending on the size, I can't really confirm this, but it's been said that in some instances people are buying yam for like 10,000, 11,000. When I close my eyes, I'm thinking, is this real? Because only some few months ago, we were, at least like maybe a year ago, we were still buying yam normal rates now, 600, 500 naira, like crate of eggs. People were still buying them. I remember we could buy a crate of egg for 600 naira. Now people are buying a crate of egg for like, 4, 6, I heard. So in some occasions, even over 5,000. I think there's something that needs to be done to this. Seriously. This is no longer just about, you know, whether we're just going to let market forces just allow things to, you know, try and push inflation down. Serious steps has to be taken, honestly, in the midst of all the security issues that we have, armed robbery, banditry, just name it, kidnapping, you know. Mr. Genesis, the staff of the state broadcasting service, who has turned his entire apartment and immediate surrounding to a farm, said he was not doing it for fun, but for self-sustenance. I grow these things to sustain myself. Much of my salary goes to settle debts, so I have to use the available space around my residence to plant crops. The essence of getting money is to buy food so I can get some of the crops from my vicinity to sustain me. So be it. He planted water leaf on the steps leading to his apartment, while he planted pumpkin, okra, and sweet potatoes on the other side of his sitting room. While at the backyard, he has sugar cane, pawpaw, guava tree. In my car park, I grow yams. This is crazy. He used cement bags. That is what I said we did in our office. It was supposed to be like an experiment, basically. It was supposed to be an experiment to see, because when we saw that the cost of living, so the idea was that, so this is something we're going to release very soon. It's like, um, it's a content where I think this was something we did earlier this year. We wanted to see how people could sort of manage, in this situation, in this present economic situation. And there we go. This gentleman is doing exactly that. I actually saw it on TikTok. Then we decided to say, okay, you know what? Let's see how we can, deal with this. And they said, while in my kitchen, I have a cage for rabbits. Wow, we have turkeys at the back of the office. Yes, we have turkeys there. You know, and so I can make meals for myself for several days without going to the market, so long as I have palm oil and salt. He said. Another resident, Margaret Ogan, a school teacher, said she breeds chicken in her kitchen and living room. Whoa, this is just unbelievable. I have about 10 chickens presently. Every 3 months, I sell them. After killing one or two for my family, I make good money from the sale. You see, that's the thing about free market. Free market is where some people will become, you see, in the situation that's happening in the country, some people are going to become multi-billionaires. And guess what? It's got nothing to do with government. They are not collecting any contract from anywhere. These are people who are coming up with some ideas. I mean, look at what this woman just said. This was the same thing that happened during COVID, where I heard about a family. The woman, well, she's like, it's I don't know whether she's a single, but they didn't mention anything about her dad. So she has a son. I think young adults. The son and the daughter. I think they're about from age 21 to 25. By the end of COVID, these people they are making. The woman works in the bank. She resigned. Essentially, they are big time poultry farmers as it is right now. Big time. And they got into this. They bought their chicken and everything just for, to be able to tie them over during the COVID. And then everybody else started coming asking them that, oh, please, we can hear chicken making noise here. Are you selling them? And they now found out that because COVID took longer, so the chicken were getting so big and they were not eating. How many chicken do you want to eat? She had fish, everything. And so they started selling them. And as they were selling the kind of money that was coming in was almost 3 times the salary the woman would make doing all the jackpot, well, Lagos jackpot, internal jackpot. You have international jackpot, people go all over the place. But this one was internal. And this is one of the things I always say to people is that you have to be ingenious in the way when we look at our economy, we see problems. But people who have this can do spirit, they look for opportunities. Those opportunities, look around you. Look, you want to pray that God opens your eyes. It's like the story of Isaac in the Bible. God told Isaac, don't jackpot anywhere, stay there. And he said he did what? Isaac sowed in that land, in the land of Canaan, that is supposed to be where everybody was running away from. And Egypt at that time, God said, don't go to Egypt. Egypt was like the US, UK, all the other places and all that, Europe, And God said, stay there. He did. And he made bastard money. We can look around. They are good examples, not people who have dodgy business, not people who are doing rituals, not people who are doing Yahoo Yahoo Plus. I'm talking about people who genuinely, they look around, they see gap in the market. That is what we will be looking at. In this kind of market, the question I think we should ask is, what will I do? Anyway, that's not the that's not the point of our events today. But this is something I think I'm going to be looking to doing this tomorrow on Sunday, talking about, okay, what can we do in the present economy? How can Nigerians, I think I'm going to be able to do that. I'll see if I can get one or two people to actually do that as well, that, come alongside, that we can co-host this, and then, to give people some ideas how we can actually make, how can Nigerians make money? Because in this thing, we have to use wisdom as well. There's no point in this sort of economy where you're just spending lavishly. There's some things you can do without. If you have to be going around to go and spend money to do your hair and nail, why don't you think about doing it yourself? Why don't you think about doing it yourself? To save money, you know? And when your business start taking off, then your business will pay for it. Easy peasy. But people don't want to do that. They just want to keep on doing the same thing. You keep doing the same thing, you keep getting the same result. Anyway, so Agnes Ogwe, housewife, said she travels 20 kilometers 3 times a week to Odopanu to farm cassava. She said, last year I usually pay 500 naira as transport fare to the farm, 500 naira back, but now I spend 2,000. Wow, that is crazy. That's almost like 400% increase to and fro. It still makes sense to me since the cost of gari is high now. I sell some gari and some we consume from the cassava I planted. I harvest every 3 months. Should look into this. Others who are not farming have taken to selling petty items. Every available spot within the city is occupied. There are a lot of ways that you can grow things. All these agro techniques that you can. It's all on YouTube. Some people are just watching skits. Look at this is the time we should be looking at how you can make money. And I'm not talking of just making skits. I'm talking of tangible things that when you get into them, you are providing a service as well, and you're making money. I mean, of course, we need people to make us laugh, like skits and things. We do, at G9ija TV, we actually do that. We have skits and things. Check us out on G9ija TV, and our TikTok, G9ija, G9ija TV _studio. Check us out on TikTok as well. So the idea is that, we want to bring some solid, be able to make positive impact, while we provide the sort of psychological, should I say, a psychological sort of or outlet to make people laugh, so that people are not really thinking, because laughing is very strong psychologically, you know. But at the same time, we want to be able to do other things as well. So we'll do our bit. This is where the nation needs to pull together. If only the leadership can we have a visionary leader who can stir people up, so that Nigerians will rise up. Whatever our hands can find to do, everybody's, use all our space to start, whatever service we can provide, whatever food we can, want to bring up, crops that we can, the crop we can actually sow and, harvest them, sell them. We're all working together. It's possible. But when we have leadership who are like, no, it's our turn in this region, is that, it's the Igbo's fault, it's Yoruba's fault, it's Hausa, Fulani. Look, in every tribe, you have the crazies, you have the foolish, you have the thief, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly, essentially. Whether they are Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, Fulani, doesn't matter. So we have in Benue State, no more frivolous visits. People don't just go and visit anybody anyhow. Today, our situation has been compounded. This in Benue State has been compounded with the recent hike in the pump price. We are now trekking all over the place. I mean, same thing in Lagos now. That now, when during closing hours, you see people walking on Third Mainland Bridge. Third Mainland Bridge is not designed for pedestrians, but now you now see people walking because they can't afford uh, the uh, the transportation fares. Abia State, things getting worse every day. Um, what we are doing these days, that's in Abia State, is just to sell fuel for the government. The economy is so hard. It is only God that is helping us to survive. You know, um, what else? There are just so many things. There are just so many things. Mr. President. That's why you are the president. You are in now. You know, I like some of these words. Like Emilio Kwan. So I want to see the impact of that now. So please, Mr. Get visionary people. You are in. You are in. God has put us there for such a time as this. So let's see some action, sir. That's what we want to see. We want to see some actions. This is not about APC anymore, about whether it's PDP or Labour Party. I don't care. What we actually need now is, we need solid actions. This is the time that will stand up and be counted. So, um, whoops. I think last but not the least. So we're going back to terrorism now. We're going back to terrorism now. So we want to talk about a gentleman called Alilu Buzu from Niger. This man apparently has been terrorizing people. He's a cattle rustler. You can see the guy. These people, whether they've been watching Rambo, they see people carrying guns, and that this is what they do. And unfortunately, like one of the governors said yesterday, that it's very sort of disheartening, to actually see, people, you see about six, um, should I say terrorists or headers will come to a community that have over 2,000 people, and they will be killing people anyhow, like just six. They know the people there. The man said it was so embarrassing. I know that Nigerians are not cowards. you know the government has made it impossible. Well, right now, no Nigerian is actually out. If you are a citizen, if you are a civilian, you're not allowed to actually carry guns. And I think presently the government need to review that, because we need to defend ourselves. Our people are just sitting there, like I usually say, like sitting ducks. And these people are coming with their all sort of, I don't know, and chances the people will come on bikes, bicycle, wherever, just grab people anyhow, kill the people, do everything, then go to their forest hideout and begin. It's a bit like they are not Robin Hood. These people are evil, despicable human beings, such as this despicable thing here. On a major breakthrough against terrorism, troops from the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Hadirin Daji have successfully eliminated notorious bandit commander Kachala Buzu and several of his fighters in Zamfara state. Security analysts and counterinsurgency experts Zagazola Makama, who confirmed the development, said the operation, which took place on Thursday night, September 12, 2024, in Mayachi village, was the result of an ambush led by the military following intelligence reports on the terrorist movement. Intelligence sources told the publication that the ambush led to neutralization of numerous bandits, including their leader, Buzu. One of the key things that we've said here, honestly, is, I mean, come on. I mean, look at the guy now. These guys always believe that they are invincible, that they will live forever. It's such a pity that we've gotten to such a state. This is some of the weapons that was recovered from them. You can see that. They've got all these Uzi, everything, grenades, launcher. Look at some of the rifles they've got there. Those are very sophisticated weapons. When you carry this against civilians, what chance do the civilians stand? What chance? Look at the amount of, the people that sell ammunitions, that sell weapons. Honestly, the hottest part of hell would be reserved for them. I kid you not. Because those that live by the sword, they will die by the sword. I don't know what kind of money they are making, because anyone that goes into this kind of business, to know that it will be used to sniff out, to snuff out other human beings' life. You know, I don't know whether they believe in God, but honestly, this is just not it, really. So now the guy is dead. So the only one that they say they are looking for now is this Toji. I don't like calling his name, because I think the guy is the guy is a despicable human being. Those ones that you don't see them as human beings at all. Those are people that should not, that in the annals of history, their names should never be mentioned. you know they are forgotten. They are not even reckoned with as human being. you know and this is just what it is. Every day is, oh, we're getting one thing or the other. So people, so we just tell people that, look, be careful when you travel. And when you, I think one of the security measures to be taken as well is that when they are traveling, maybe they should try and travel, in convoys. That maybe people should put money together and get private security. At least you have a fighting chance. Those days of when I remember back then, university days, we would just jump in the car from Lagos, we just drive to Ibadan anyhow. Even that place is there, even though it's not as bad as in the north. But now it's a bit like playing Russian roulette because you don't know when you are jumping out, when you're jumping back in. Like seriously. Like seriously. So, ouch. So, well, that's it, folks. So I just want to say thank you very much. And so we're looking again, same time. It's already Sunday anyway. So later in the day, so we'll be having episode 26. So just want to say thank you, everyone. And if there's anything that you think that we can actually do, that maybe to improve the program, any suggestion, please, we're actually open to any kind of suggestion itself. And if you think there's something we should be talking about, please let us know then. So just want to say thank you, good night, and from me, Olatune, God bless. Thank you.